Okay, so I'm thinking today's video is going to be pretty fun. We're going to be shooting a bolt action 223. If you haven't been watching some of my recent videos, you might not know that I'm kind of going through the dusty corners of my safe and pulling out some guns for cleaning. And while I'm doing that, I'm taking each one out and shooting it a little bit. That's what's going on in today's video. So this gun is a Remington 700 Varmint Special. My grandfather bought this gun new in 1970, but he bought it as a 222. He kept it that way for 30 years, but in 2002, he decided to have it rechambered as 223. So this is the original factory 222 barrel that's just been rechambered to 223. So back in 1970 when he bought it, the gun was $153.16. So in the early 2000s, about the time he was rechambering it for 223, he also put it in this nice Boyd stock that's been bedded and pillared and worked over. And he also put a Rifle Basics L3 trigger in it. So this gun has got a 2-ounce trigger. Same thing as the 6PPC bench rest rifle. Crazy light. So going back through his notes, he had several bullets that really shot well in this gun. The 40 grain VMAX, he seemed to spend a lot of time on. He also shot a lot of his own bullets. He had a whole Corbin bullet swaging set up for making his own 52 grain jacketed bullets, and he shot a lot of those. But what I want to shoot today is this Hornady 53 grain flat base hollow point match bullet. And it looks like he had the best luck with 25.8 grains of Reloader 15 and 22.5 grains of Reloader 10X. I've never actually used Reloader 10X, and this bottle actually came out of his old stockpile. So I'll tell you what, here's all the load data that I want to shoot today. It's this 53 grain Hornady at an overall length of 2.252, which is 15 thousandths off the lands. For brass, I have 25 pieces of new Lake City brass. Going to shoot Remington 7.5 primers, and then I want to load 10 shots with that 25.8 grain charge of Reloader 15. I want to load 10 shots with the 22.5 grain load of Reloader 10X. And then just for the heck of it, I pulled out some IMR 8208 XBR, and I want to shoot 24.5 grains of that. We'll do a 5-shot group with that powder. So that's 25 shots, and that's pretty much the plan. We'll go out, enjoy the gun, see how it shoots, then clean it up and put it back in the safe. So there shouldn't be very much that's tricky about the loading process. The 25 pieces of brass, I've gone ahead and lubed them up with a little bit of Hornady 1-shot. Like I say, it's brand new brass, but you'll see some of them got dinged up necks. I know somebody's going to ask, where do you get new Lake City brass? I'm not sure if it's available anywhere right now, but 3 or 4 years ago, Mid-South Shooter Supply had some, and I picked up a couple bags. So that's where that comes from. So no primer crimps or any of that to worry about. This stuff's brand new. So the first step will be to run this stuff through a sizing die. We'll use my Mighty Armory full-length sizing die and go from there. All right, so my Redding number 10 shell holder. All right, got it screwed down until it's making decent contact. That should be all we need. Don't need to worry about bumping the shoulder or anything, really just cleaning up that neck. Let's see how this goes. Super easy, not much effort at all. And just to be sure, I'm going to make sure that it fits in the gun. Yep, no problem at all. So I've wiped off the cases and cleaned up the case mouths with a deburring and chamfering tool. So they're all nice and shiny and ready to go. We're ready for primers. Okay, so our charges are weighed out and we're ready for bullet seating. Got a Hornady custom grade seating die with standard seating stem. So I've got a case raised all the way up. I'm going to screw this down until I feel it touch. There it is right there. And then back off of that about a turn and lock it down. So overall length target is 2.252. Got the seating die backed way out. So let's see if we can get it dialed in. Okay, nothing's touching yet, so screw the adjuster down just a little bit until I felt it touch, and then we'll go a good bit more than that. That should get us started. Okay, need to come down 152 thousandths. So that's 3 full rotations. 1, 2, 3, and then just a little bit more. Hopefully I didn't go one turn too many. Nope, absolutely nailed it. So 2.252 was our target. Let's try another one here. Seating nice and smooth, feels good. The next one is right on the money at 2.252. So this Reloader 15 charge has the most case fill, 25.8 grains. Is almost up to the neck, but these are not compressed. I can feel a little bit of powder moving, but just barely. All right, last one here. Everything's gone perfect, nice and smooth, felt consistent. Everything seems great. So let's get out to the range. Okay, so I've got a target at 100 yards. Got the lab radar set up to get our velocities. And just setting up the bags, this stock feels really, really comfortable. So I've actually got a front bag that my grandfather had made that fits the 6 PPC and this gun really, really well. This Boyd stock has a nice flat forend, and it seems to be sitting pretty nice, and I'm thinking it's going to be pretty stable. The scope is an 18 power Nikon, but it's got a dot in the center and fine crosshairs, so it should be really nice for aiming at a target like we're shooting. Okay, let's get started. We'll start out with 25.8 grains of Reloader 15, and we'll see what happens. This super light trigger is probably going to be the toughest thing to get used to here. I'm going to shoot this about like I do the PPC. Very minimal contact with my shoulder and my face, and no hand contact whatsoever except trigger finger. The brass looks good. That's not too bad for the first 5 shots. 0.66 inches so far. 5 more of these to go. Holy crap, that is not bad for straight out of the safe. So total group was 0.72 inches, but I think the second 5 were even better. Yeah, that's the second group of 5 shots. That's 0.44 inches. Man, that's awesome. Looks like the velocity was a mess though. Average was 3150, standard deviation 46.3, extreme spread 162. Not exactly good. All right, I'm going to take a little break, make sure we keep the gun cool before we move on. Man, it helps to turn on my microphone. Sorry about that. So that group's kind of weird. It's 1.1 inches, and without that low shot, it's 0.89. So our velocity was 3124 with a standard deviation of 23.9. Not that great. Now, from my grandfather's notes, that the Reloader 10X load did not shoot as good as Reloader 15 for him either, but it still shot pretty good for him. I was hoping for a little bit better than that after seeing that first group. Okay, 24.5 grains of IMR 8208 XBR. As far as I know, my grandfather had never tried this powder with this bullet, so Let's see what happens. So that first velocity was 3,046, and the brass looks good. I tried to pick a nice, safe, low charge of 8208 XBR. So no surprise our velocity's a little bit behind the other powders. Okay, so our velocity was 3,020 feet per second, standard deviation 47.4. So horrifically terrible, awful standard deviations today. We are fire forming brass. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. It doesn't really matter because the accuracy today was pretty awesome. So this last group, 0.54 inches. Very happy with that. Very happy with that first group. This gun is a lot of fun to shoot. Like, this trigger is awesome. The ergonomics of the Boyd stock are really nice. The crosshair and dot in this scope were really, really nice to aim with. So this gun's kind of awesome. And there are a couple things that kind of come to mind that I want to test in the bullets and stuff that I want to test in the future, where this would really be a nice place to test them. So this guy's getting cleaned up and put back in the safe, but you might end up seeing it again. I mean, heck, we got brass fire formed for it. Might as well take advantage of that. All right, I think that's it for today. Appreciate you guys joining me. Hope you enjoyed.